Come on, baby, do the locomotion. If George Stephenson were alive today, what would he be famous for? Well, of course it would be his age. He'd be 177. On this Mike's mission, we're going to try and track down his final resting place. But also on the way, we're hoping to have an interview with the man himself. So welcome to Tapton in Chesterfield. And it's September the 27th, 2025. Now that's a very special date indeed. As well as it being my half birthday, it's also the 200th anniversary of George Stephenson revealing his astonishing steam-powered engine, locomotive number 1. Now it looked like a giant kettle on lines, but that revolutionized the way we were going to travel and the way we were going to transport goods. Now, as well as inventing locomotion, George Stephenson also invented the rocket. And even if you know very little at all about railways, you'll surely have heard of Stephenson's rocket. Now, Stephenson was born up in the northeast in 1781, up in Northumberland. So why are we down here in Chesterfield? Well, he actually lived here in this building behind me at Tapton for the final 10 years of his life. And from here, actually, he could keep an eye on the Midland Railway, which was just down below us, down the hill. And because I think he had some involvement as well in the setting up of the Midland Railway line. So where better to live? Now, amazingly, for such a wonderful engineer, Stephenson didn't actually teach himself to read and write until he was 18. George Stephenson, when he wasn't inventing railway engines, he also did his little bit, inadvertently of course, to affect pop music and dance. Then also, when he wasn't doing that, he invented a device to help cucumbers grow straight. Now, this particular mission is to find George Stephenson's final resting place here in Chesterfield. Now, we know he's buried in a churchyard in the centre of Chesterfield, but finding this grave isn't going to be as straightforward as you might imagine. Come with me and we'll see what we can find. Now, I mentioned about Stephenson's link with pop music. Any idea what that was? Of course, it's the song The Locomotion, one of the top 300 pop songs of all time apparently, and it was written by Jerry Goffin and Carole King way back in the early 60s, and it was inspired by Stephenson's invention. Oh yes, it was. What about the line, a chugga chugga motion like a railroad train? Now that's all about the locomotion. I was hoping to be able to play the song for you at this point, but YouTube copyright laws say we can't do that. And also, if I wanted to join in with a dance, my daughter Olivia would definitely forbid that. So you get a star for anyone who remembers who recorded the locomotion. Well, to begin with, it was Little Eva, and then it was Little Kyla Minogue, and then also there was a version by the not so little Grand Funk Railroad. So here's the man himself, George Stephenson. This wonderful sculpture created by artist Steve Hickling, right outside Chesterfield Railway Station. That's the man himself. Railway pioneer, pop music influencer, and don't forget, cucumber straightener, George Stephenson. If you know that George Stephenson is buried in a churchyard in the centre of Chesterfield, you would probably start your search here, wouldn't you? This is St Mary and All Saints Church, which everyone knows, of course, as the Crooked Spire. Now, this church is famous throughout the world, but not for its links with George Stephenson. There are lots and lots of gravestones around the church building here, but none of them have the name George Stephenson on. So if you thought you were going to find it here, you'd find yourself in a twist. Now, many years ago, I used to edit some free newspapers in Chesterfield, and one of them, the Chesterfield Express, is based right here in this building. So I know that about 50 yards further along this road there is another church, the Holy Trinity Church, and I think we might find what we're looking for there. Right, so the Holy Trinity Church, Newbold Road in Chesterfield, is the final resting place for George Stephenson. And it looks like there might be a special event on today. Lots of gravestones here, but one large one, look at that. Shall we head for that one? Very impressive, so this must be the one. Let's have a close look. George Stephenson Jr. George Stephenson. But hang on a minute, that's Stephenson spelt with a V. I know our George spelt his name with a PH. We need to investigate further. Lots of exciting things planned here at Holy Trinity Church, all linked to George Stephenson. Right then, we've been looking for George Stephenson and we've seen the sculpture down at the railway station, but look here, a real live George Stephenson on the right. Good afternoon, sir, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Very well, thank you.
Excellent.
And we know you're from the northeast, and you've lost none of the accent over these 100 or 200 years, have you?
Well, that's right. You can take the man out of Northumberland and Durham, but you can't take Durham and Northumberland out of the man, can you?
No. So what was your big connection with Chesterfield? We've been up to Tapton House this morning and seen that where you used to live.
Oh, it's a lovely place, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So yes, quite. I moved to Chesterfield having done many surveying of railways and things in the area. I first came to this area surveying the North Midland line between Derby and Leeds, and of course working at quarry and mine workings near Crouch as well, getting involved with various collieries and iron companies, and always on the lookout to see how I can expand my empire and make myself that little bit richer.
That's superb, and we've got one of your workmen here as well today. What's your job been today with that big shovel?
Well, I'm just an ordinary working class person who does his best to serve the likes of George Stephenson here.
Yeah, and George, as well as bringing the railways to Chesterfield, you must have brought lots of jobs here as well.
Indeed, not just in the in the sort of immediate area. Obviously, we've got the Clay Cross Company just up the road that was involved with limestone deposits, along with the iron companies in the area as well, and of course the navvy jobs building these various lines, and the arterial routes that are feeding into the main line.
Right, now this sounds very strange, but I'm now going inside the church to look for your gravestone.
Spoiler alert! I didn't see that one coming.
Here we are behind the altar in Holy Trinity Church, and beneath this stone here, that's the final resting place of our George Stephenson. Mission accomplished.